Hello there, everyone, on Berks County Quarantine Open Mic. I'm Jessie, and for the next 30 minutes, you're going to be hearing songs and stories with Jessie, or stories and songs with Jessie. So, it's so nice to be here again to share some stories and some songs with all of you. The first book that I've chosen for today is called If You Give a Pig a Pancake. I thought that this story was cute, so I thought I'd share it with all of you. I'll get right on into it. If you give a pig a pancake, you see the picture? She'll want some syrup to go with it. You'll give her some of your favorite maple syrup. Sorry if you hear my dogs downstairs. They always end up barking if they hear anything at the door. And of course, we've got all the beautiful windows open because it's such a nice day today. Anyway, the pig will probably get all sticky, so she'll want to take a bath. She'll ask you for some bubbles. When you give her the bubbles, she'll probably ask for a toy. You'll have to find your rubber duck. The duck will remind her of the farm where she was born. She might feel homesick and want to visit her family. She'll want you to come too. She'll look through your closet for a suitcase. Then she'll look under your bed. When she's under the bed, she'll find your old tap shoes. She'll try them on, and she'll probably need something special to wear with them. When she's all dressed, she'll ask for some music. You'll play your very best piano piece, and she'll start dancing. Then she'll want you to take her picture. So you'll have to get your camera. Silly pig. When she sees the picture, she'll ask you to take more. Then she'll want to send one to each of her friends. You'll have to give her some envelopes and stamps and take her to the mailbox. On the way, she'll see the tree in your backyard. She'll want to build a tree house. So you'll have to get her some wood, a hammer, and some nails. When the tree house is finished, she'll want to decorate it. She'll ask for wallpaper and glue. When she hangs the wallpaper, she'll get all sticky. Feeling sticky will remind her of your favorite maple syrup. She'll probably ask you for some. And chances are, if she asks you for some maple syrup, she'll want a pancake to go with it. And that's the end of If You Give a Pig a Pancake. That was kind of a short one, but I just thought it was cute to share with all of you. All right. Our next selection for today is actually from a series of books. I'll probably end up reading a bunch of these because my mom found these in the basement and used to read these to me and my younger sister when we were little. They're called the Junie B. Jones books by Barbara Park. So this is the very, very first one, called Junie B. Jones and the Stupid Smelly Bus. I think that Barbara Parks is a really funny writer. And yeah, and I looked at the copyright, and this book came out the year that I was born, 1992. So hope you enjoy, because I really think that Junie B. Jones books are fun. Chapter 1, Meeting Mrs. My name is Junie B. Jones. The B stands for Beatrice, except I don't like Beatrice. I just like B, and that's all. I'm almost 6 years old. I'm almost 6, and that is when you get to go to kindergarten. Kindergarten is where you go to meet new friends and not watch TV. My kindergarten is the afternoon kind. Today was my first day of school. I'd been to my room before, though. Last week, Mother took me there to meet my teacher. There's Junie B. And yeah, Junie B says that she had afternoon kindergarten, which I remember I had morning kindergarten. It was called Meet the Teacher Day. My teacher was decorating the bulletin board with letters of the alphabet. I already know all of those letters, I said. I can sing them, except I don't feel like it right now. My teacher shook my hand, only our hands didn't fit together that good. Her name was Mrs. I can't remember the rest of it. Mrs. said I looked cute. I know it, I said. That's because I have on my new shoes. I held my foot way high in the air. See how shiny they are? Before I put them on, I licked them. And guess what else I said? This is my bestest hat. Grandpa Miller bought it for me. See the devil horns sticking out of the sides? Junie B's a silly girl. Mrs. laughed, except I don't know why. Devil horns are supposed to be scary. Then we walked around the room and she showed me where stuff was, like the easels where we get to paint, and the shelves where the books are, and the tables where we sit and don't watch TV. One of the tables in front of the room had a red chair. I would like to sit here, I think, I told her. But Mrs. said, we'll have to wait and see, Junie. B, I said. Call me Junie B. I hollered the B part real loud so she wouldn't forget it. People are always forgetting my B. Mother rolled her eyes and looked at the ceiling. I looked up there too, but I didn't see anything. Are you going to ride the bus, Junie B? Mrs. asked me. I made my shoulders go up and down. I don't know. Where's it going to? My mother nodded her head and said, yes, she'll be riding the bus. That made me feel scary inside, 'cause I never rided on a bus before. Yeah, only where's it going to? I asked again. Mrs. sat on her desk. Then she and my mother talked more about the bus. I tapped on Mrs. Guess what? I still don't know where it's going to. Mrs. smiled and said the bus driver's name was Mr. Wu. Mr. Wu, said Mother. That's an easy name for Junie B to remember. I covered my ears and stamped my foot. Yeah, only where's the stupid smelly bus going to? I think Junie B's getting frustrated there. Mother and Mrs. frowned. Frowning is when your eyebrows look grumpy. Watch yourself, Missy, said Mother. Missy's my name when I'm in trouble. I looked down at my shoes. They didn't look as shiny as they did before. Just then, another mother and a boy came in, and Mrs. went off to talk to them instead of me. I don't know why, though. The boy was hiding behind his mother and acting very babyish. I can beat that boy up, I think. After that, my mother sat me down and explained about the bus. She said it's yellow, and it's called a school bus, and it stops at the end of my street. Then I get on it and sit down, and it takes me to school. And then your teacher will meet you in the parking lot, said Mother. Okay, Junie B, won't that be fun? I nodded the word yes, but inside my head, I said the word no. Chapter 2, Feeling Squeezy. I stayed scared about the bus for a whole week, and last night when my mother tucked me into bed, I still felt sickish about it. Guess what? I said. I don't think I want to ride that school bus to kindergarten tomorrow. Then my mother rumpled my hair. Oh, sure you do, she said. Oh, sure I don't, I said back. Then Mother kissed me and said, it'll be fun, you'll see, just don't worry. I did, though. I worried very much, and I didn't sleep so good either. And this morning I felt very droopy when I got up, and my stomach was squeezy, and I couldn't eat my cereal. And so I watched TV until Mother said it was time to get ready to go. Then I put on my skirt that looks like velvet, and my new fuzzy pink sweater, and I ate half a tuna sandwich for lunch. After that, Mother and I walked to the corner to wait for the bus. Sorry, guys. There's that picture there. And guess what? There was another mother and a little girl there, too. The little girl had curly black hair, which is my favorite kind of head. I didn't say hello to her, though, because she was from a different street, that's why. Then finally, the big yellow bus came around the corner, and the brakes screeched really loud, and I had to cover my ears. Then the door opened. The bus driver said, "Hi, I'm Mr. Wu. Hop on." Except I didn't hop on because my legs didn't want to. I don't think I want to ride this bus to kindergarten, I told my mother again. Then she gave me a little push. Go on, Junie B, she said. Mr. Wu is waiting for you. Be a big girl and get on. I looked up at the windows. The little girl with the curly black hair was already in the bus. She looked very big sitting up there and kind of happy. Look how big that little girl is acting, Junie B, said Mother. Why don't you sit right next to her? It'll be fun, I promise. And so I got on the bus. And guess what? It wasn't fun. Chapter 3, The Stupid Smelly Bus. The bus wasn't like my daddy's car at all. It was very big inside, and the seats didn't have any cloth on them. The little curly girl was sitting near the front, and so I tapped on her. Guess what? I said. Mother said for me to sit here. No, she cried. I'm saving the seat for my best friend, Mary Ruth Marble. Then she put her little white purse on the place where I was going to sit. And so I made a face at her. Hurry up and find a seat, young lady, said Mr. Wu. And so I quick sat down across from the curly mean girl, and Mr. Wu shut the door. It wasn't a regular kind of door, though. It folded in half, and when it closed, it made a whooshy sound. I don't like that kind of door. It closes on you by accident. Or if it closes on you by accident, it will cut you in half, and you will make a squishy sound. The bus made a big roar. Then a big puff of black smelly smoke came out of the back end of it. It's called bus breath, I think. Mr. Wu drove off for a while. Then the brakes made that loud, screechy noise again. I covered my ears so it couldn't get inside my head, because if loud, screechy noises get inside your head, you have to take an aspirin. I saw that on a TV commercial. Then the bus door opened again, and a dad and a boy with a grouchy face got on. The dad smiled. Then he plopped the grouchy boy next to me. "This is Jim," he said. "I'm afraid Jim isn't too happy this afternoon." The dad kissed the boy goodbye, but the boy wiped it off his cheek. Jim had on a backpack. It was blue. I love backpacks. I wish I had one of my very own. One time I found a red one in a trash can, but it had a little bit of gushy on it, and Mother said no. Jim's backpack had lots of zippers. I touched each one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, I counted. Then I unzipped one. "Hey, don't!" yelled Jim. He zipped it right back up again. Then he moved to the seat in front of me. I hate that Jim. After that, the bus kept stopping and starting, and lots of kids kept getting on. Loud kids, and some of them were the kind who looked like meanies. Then the bus began getting very noisy and hot inside, and the sun kept shining down on me and my fuzzy hot sweater. And here's another hot thing. I couldn't roll down my window because it didn't have a handle. And so I just kept on getting hotter and hotter. And it smelled on that bus, too. The bus smelled like an egg salad sandwich. "I want to get off of here," I said right out loud, but nobody heard me. "I hate it in this stupid smelly bus." Then my eyes got a little bit wet. I wasn't crying, though, because I'm not a baby, that's why. After that, my nose started running, only the bus didn't have a glove compartment, which is where you keep the travel tissues, of course. And so I had to wipe my nose on my fuzzy pink sweater sleeve. Then I stayed on the bus for about an hour or 3, until finally I saw a flagpole and a playground. That meant we were at kindergarten. Then Mr. Wu drove the bus into the parking lot and stopped. I jumped up really fast because all I wanted to do was get off that stupid smelly thing. Only guess what? That Jim pushed right in front of me, and the curly mean girl did too, and then people started squishing me real tight. And so I pushed them away, and they pushed me right back. That's when I fell down, and a big foot stepped on my skirt that looks like velvet. "Stop it!" I yelled. Then Mr. Wu hollered, "Hey, hey, hey!" And he picked me up and helped me off the bus. Mrs. was waiting for me just like my mother said. "Hi, I'm glad to see you," she called. Then I ran over to her, and I showed her the big footprint on my skirt that looks like velvet. "Yeah, only look what happened. I got stepped on, and now I'm soiled." Mrs. brushed it. "Don't worry, Junie," she said. "It'll come off." After that, I just folded my arms and made a frown. 'Cause guess what? She forgot my bee again. Chapter 4. Me and Lucille and some other kids. Some of the other bus kids turned out to be in my class, too. One of them was that Jim. That Jim I hate. Mrs. made us line up. Then we followed her to our room. Its name is Room 9. There were other kids waiting by the door. When Mrs. unlocked it, everyone squeezed in all at once. That Jim stepped on my new shoe. He made a scratch mark on my shiny shoe, the kind of scratch that licking won't fix. "Hey, watch it, you dumb Jim," I hollered at him. Mrs. bent down next to me. "Let's try to use our quiet voice while we're in school," she said. I nodded nicely. "I hate that Jim," I said in my quiet voice. After that, Mrs. clapped her hands together very loud. "I want everyone to find a chair and sit down as fast as you can," she said. That's when I ran to the table with the red chair. Only, guess what? There was already somebody sitting there. A girl with little red fingernails. And so I tapped on her and said, "I would like to sit there, I think." "No," she said, "I am." "Yeah, only I already picked that chair out," I told her. "Ask my mother if you don't believe me." But the girl just shook her head no. And then Mrs. clapped her loud hands again and said, "Please find a seat." And so then I had to quick sit down in a stupid yellow chair. That same stupid color as the stupid yellow bus. After that, Mrs. walked to a big closet in the back of the room. It's called the supply closet. She got out boxes of new pointy crayons and some white circles. Then she passed them out, and we had to print our names on the circles and pin them to our fronts. It was our first work. "If you need help spelling your name, please raise your hand," said Mrs. I raised my hand. "I don't need help," I told her. "Grandma Miller says I print beautifully." I used red ink, but then a mistake happened. I made my Junie too big, and there wasn't any room left for my B. So I had to squish it very teeny in the bottom. "I hate this stupid dumb circle," I hollered. Mrs. made the shh sound and gave me a new one. "Thank you," I said nicely. "Grandma Miller says I print beautifully." The girl with the little red fingernails was faster than me. She showed me her circle and pointed to her letters. Lucille. That spells Lucille, she said. "I like that name, Lucille," I said, "'cause guess why? Seals are my favorite animals. That's why." Then Mrs. passed out drawing paper, and we drew pictures of our family. Mrs. put a happy face sticker on mine. It was very good, except I made my father too teeny, and Mother's hair looked like sticks. After that, Mrs. took our class on a walk around the school. Everyone had to find a buddy to walk with. My buddy was Lucille. We held hands. The boy I can beat up was right in front of us. His buddy was that Jim. That Jim I hate. The first place we walked to is called the Media Center. My mother calls it a library. That's where the books are. And guess what? Books are my very favorite things in the whole wide world. "Hey, there's a jillion of them in there," I hollered, feeling very excited. "I think I love this place." The librarian bent down next to me. She said to use my quiet voice. "Yeah, only guess what? Right now, I just like the kind of books with pictures, but Mother says when I get big, I'm going to like the kind with just words, and also stewed tomatoes." The boy I can beat up said, "Shh." I made a fist at him. Then he turned around. After that, we went to the cafeteria. The cafeteria is where the kids eat lunch, except not when you're in kindergarten. I said, "It smells yummy in here. Just like paschetti and meatballs." Then that Jim turned around and held his nose. "P.U. I smell you," he said. Lucille laughed very hard, and so I stopped holding her hand. The next place we went to was the nurse's office. It's very cute in that place. There are 2 little beds where you get to lie down and 2 little blankets that are the color of plaid. Our nurse doesn't look like a nurse. She doesn't wear white clothes and white shoes. Our nurse is just a regular color. Lucille raised her hand. "My brother said that last year he came here, and you let him take off his shoes, and he got a drink of water in just his socks." That Jim turned around again. "P.U. I smell your feet," he said to Lucille. This time Lucille stuck her tongue out at him. After that, we held hands again. I think we have time for one more chapter, and then, it'll almost be time up for me. So, last chapter for today, because, these Junie B. Jones books are a little bit longer. Okay, Chapter 5, Principal. After we left the nurse, we went to the main office. That's where the boss of the school lives. His name is Principal. Principal is a baldy. He talked to us. Then Lucille raised her hand. "My brother said that last year he had to come down here, and you yelled at him, and now he's not allowed to beat up kids at recess anymore." Principal kind of laughed. Then he held the door for us to leave. After that, we walked to the water fountain, and Mrs. let us get a drink. I didn't get a long one, though, because kids kept tapping on me. "Hurry up, girl," they said. Yeah, only guess what? That's not even my name, I told them. Her name is Junie Bumblebee, said Lucille. Then she laughed, but I didn't think it was a very funny joke. After that, Mrs. showed us where the bathrooms were. There's two kinds of bathrooms in our school, a boys' kind and a girls' kind. I can't go into the boys' kind, though, 'cause no girls allowed. That's why. I tried to peek my head in there, but Mrs. snapped her fingers at me. The only boy who got to go into the bathroom was the boy I can beat up. He was jiggling around very much. Then he started running all over the place, and he was holding the front of his pants. "William," said Mrs., "are you having an emergency?" Then William yelled, "Yes!" and he ran right in there. The rest of us walked back to our room. I touched Lucille's fingernails. She said that her fingernail polish is named Very, Very Berry. "I would like to have my fingernails red too," I said, "but I'm only allowed to have the kind of polish that makes them look shiny. Its name is Clear. Clear is the color of spit." "I hate clear," said Lucille. "Me too," I told her, "and I also hate yellow, which is the color of that stupid, smelly school bus." Lucille nodded her head. "My brother said when you ride home on the bus, kids pour chocolate milk on your head." Then all of a sudden, my stomach felt very squeezy again, because I had to ride the bus home, that's why. "Why did you have to tell me that, Lucille?" I said, kind of grouchy. After we got back to room 9, we did some more work. It was a game to help us learn each other's names. I learned Lucille, and also a girl named Charlotte, and another girl named Grace. Then I learned a boy named Ham, which we eat at Grandma Miller's. Pretty soon, Mrs. clapped her loud hands together. "Okay, everyone, gather up your things. It's almost time for the bell." Then I heard a noise in the parking lot. It was screechy brakes, and so I looked out the window, and I saw the school bus. It was coming to get me. "Oh no," I said kind of loud. "Now I'm going to get chocolate milk poured on my head." Then I chewed on my fingers. Get in line, said Mrs. "When we get outside, I want all of my bus students to come with me. The rest of you must go to the crossing guard." Everyone was lining up. I was the very last one. Just then the bell rang and Mrs. marched out the door. Then everybody else marched out too. Except guess what? I didn't. All right, well, that's the end of, we are about halfway through this first book here. I'll have to continue on the next time that I do a children's hour, but thank you so much for having Stories and Songs with Jessie. I didn't get a song in because of our long story today, but anyway, enjoy the rest of children's hour. Bye-bye.